So today I'm going to talk about cloud computing made simple. I'm going to be covering what is cloud computing. So we're going to take a step back just to have a look at what is cloud computing, even though cloud has been around for many, many years. Some of you might have heard the term a lot, and you actually don't really know what it means. Then we're going to talk about the benefits of it, and then we're going to talk about essential applications. That I have a whole bunch of stuff on that, but I'm going to really focus probably initially on like office, back office systems. So like, as Sue mentioned there, Office 365, Google Workspace, and Zoho. But actually the amount of cloud applications that are open to help you run your councils in an efficient manner, there are tons of them. And I can shoot through some of those if we so wish. So let's move on. So let's go back to 1994. This is kind of pre-internet. I'm not sure if any of you guys were online in the 90s. Many of you probably were. I remember the first time I went online. I was actually in Namibia. I was working in Namibia, and it was 1995. I think it was July. And yeah, there was the office computer, which went on the internet. It's a very special machine that you could all go and use. And yeah, I went on to Yahoo and I searched up some of my favorite bands. And I didn't actually know at that time Yahoo was a global thing, because it's yahoo.co.za, which is the South African extension. So actually at that time, I just thought Yahoo was a South African company that enabled you to search for bands. And then also email. So we had the office email, no personalized email. So all the email, if you wanted someone to send you an email, not very many people, it would go to that PC. And then I had a girlfriend at Edinburgh University. So all her emails were sent to me to the office so everyone could read them, which was, fun in those days, but yeah, a bit weird. Yes, but back in those days, pre-internet, pretty much everything ran on your machine. So obviously the operating system and then all the applications that sat on top of that. So, Microsoft Office, Excel, Word, any application that you needed to conduct your business, and also your email client would be on there. So, and then everything was stored. All your files were stored on that particular machine there. And actually, the machine did all the processing. So the compute part of it used the CPU. It was all used for your applications. And then if you wanted to kind of share data a little bit, you network the PCs in an office environment, and then you might share a file system for that. But still, the individual PC was responsible for everything related to it. So everything runs on your own machine, very little collaboration. And then you, as an individual, if it's a home PC or as a company, were responsible for maintaining all the software that runs on that machine and all the data that is hosted on that machine. So that could actually be tens or hundreds of software updates. The operating system itself made it easier to kind of update all the individual libraries potentially, but sometimes things wouldn't work. Your printer stops working because it has a library that is out of date. But you as an individual were responsible for updating all those, so operating system, the desktop apps, and all the libraries, and keeping all your data. And if you wanted to back that up, you had to back that up. Fast forward to 2024. Now everything in the cloud runs in your browser. The application has moved from the desktop, and it pretty much runs everything. All apps pretty much now run in the browser. I have to keep updating, adding people to the room. So where you go and do, when I say browser, sometimes many of our customers that join us are not aware what the term browser is, but it's basically the application you use to go on the internet, do all your Googling, visit news sites, and etc. So now all those applications which were running on your desktop have been recoded, reprogrammed, so they can be served up on demand in your browser. So when you log on to that website in your browser, all the code is pulled down and run effectively run in the browser there. So you kind of launch that application on demand. Whereas before, back in 1994, you'd have, well, they were called the floppy disks, or then we got CDs. You'd have to go and get those. You'd have to install them to run the application. Now it just comes over in milliseconds, in seconds, and you can run it straight away. And the cool thing with the browser, you can access your apps and desktop everywhere, anywhere you go. When you're office, home, anywhere, usually on any device as well, because a lot of those web applications are now responsive, so they shrink. That's what you say when responsive. So you can log into on your phone, iPad, desktop, on holiday, or at work, at the hotel, whatever. Makes it super easy. And then also, these cloud applications that run in the browser, it's made it very easy to share data. So you no longer send files around when you need to collaborate with other people or share a file. You don't actually share the physical file, you just share a link to it, and then you can collaborate together on it or read the same material. And we'll do a little demo together in a minute. So from all that responsibility in 1994, with all those updates, you're only really responsible for maintaining 3 apps. That's kind of your core kind of thing. The operating system, keeping that up to date. So that's Windows, or on Mac, it's what's Mac OS, Mac operating system, or on your phones, it's the iOS update, and Android, or Samsung, this is the Android update. And then you have to keep your browser up to date. I would actually go as far as saying you don't really need to update. It's more important to keep the browser up to date. And if the browser won't update, it's because it's no longer compatible with an old version of the operating system. So if you can't update your browser, and it's important to update the software all the time, like back in the day when you had to update everything, is because a lot of the updates to software are fixing security vulnerabilities. So you always want to keep ahead of that. So now in the modern world, you need to keep that browser up to date. And then a bonus ball is the virus protection. So it's kind of those 3 things. You don't need to really worry about anything else, even data. And I'll go on to that in a minute, and just particularly answering Sue's question there. And also, like a bonus top tip is log into your browser. So don't Edge and Chrome, and I think Safari as well, you can log into that browser with your account, or you create an account with it, so that when you go from when you access the browser in different locations, when you log into it, all your bookmarks and actually any browser extensions that you got installed come with it. So, and also if you were saving passwords within the browser, they come with it. So you only then need to know your login to the browser. I mean, basically with Google Chrome and Office 3 and Microsoft Edge, it's your actual Office 365 account. Google Chrome, it's your actual Gmail account or Google Workspace account. So when you log into that, not only, that's why I say it brings the desktop kind of with you, because all your bookmarks come with you, all your browser extensions, and then all your passwords, it goes with you. So it's super easy to do. And a lot of people don't do that. Good. So moving on. I'm just going to use an analogy. Let's just step back. So if it's like the benefits of going cloud are, like, broadly speaking, it's the difference between owning your own vehicle and compared to using taxis and public transport. So if you use taxis and public transport, You don't have to worry about any compliance stuff. You don't have to worry about MOT. You don't have to worry about tax. You don't have to worry about insurance. You don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to get it serviced. And also those cars and those vehicles, those buses, taxis, they just automatically get back upgraded all the time. Maybe it's not so much for buses, they're a bit slow, but yeah, taxi companies always have, they replace their vehicles every 2 to 3 years. So you're always getting the latest and greatest. And also, if there's a availability issue, you lose that taxi, another one will just come in and replace it. So you don't need, it's got built-in redundancy into it. So going on to the question about suit, so there is this question, I discussed it with one of my senior engineers here, and we're talking about, do you actually need to back up data when you store it in the cloud? And we actually had a bit of a debate about it, where he's pro backing it up, and I'm saying, do you really need to back it up? So if you're using a service like Microsoft or Google, for instance, or any of these cloud providers, it's very, very rare. They're highly reliable. Their business is actually, they're expert in data security and data backups and data redundancy. So I did a bit of Googling. There's very rare instances of data loss for these types of companies that do the, Office 365, Microsoft and Google, because they have enterprise grade security, way better than anyone else will have. They have multi-layer redundancy. So data is stored physically in multiple data centers. So like Amazon, for instance, they have, I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, they have their, basically in an area like London, they physically separate their data centers in different locations, and your same file is on those physical locations. So they don't just have a backup of, it's not even a backup of your data. It's just actually, it's spread. There's multiple versions of it, and then it's synced in different locations if there was a fire or anything like that. So redundancy is kind of their business. And then beyond that, they do routine backups of that. So it's highly resilient. So I would say you don't need to worry about backups at all if you're using, particularly if it's a paying customer on Microsoft or Google or Zoho. You don't need to worry about that. Because perhaps I was saying, it's all about risk management. I mean, yes, this is very low likelihood of this happening, but it is high impact. But it's akin to maybe, I guess, your whole building burning down, which is a kind of a very rare occurrence, particularly if you have managed that risk with fire alarms and all that kind of stuff. But then, I was saying to my colleague John, so no, you are choosing to back up it, then there's other risks around data protection. So if you are backing it up, like Sue's saying, she does back it up on an external hard drive, her files, then you're adding another bit of risk. And I think that risk is greater than the risk of the very unlikely occurrence of data being lost online. And that's that now you have a physical copy of your data on a hard drive, and maybe multiple versions over very many months. So then you're going to have to make sure that physical copy is highly secure, because someone could get hold of that and then they've got all your data. So that's the kind of thing. But yeah, for me, I'm going to make the call. Don't worry about backing up your data if you're using a paid cloud service, because that is their business. That's very rare. So in terms of the browsers we're talking about, Chrome is the most popular browser out there, then Safari, then Edge. So there's different browser providers out there. So when you install a Windows machine, Edge will be kind of in their default, but I guess a lot of people do just install Chrome and let that take over. Cool, so I'm just going to do a little hello world situation, just a hello world demo to show you how cool it is to work in the cloud. So I'm going to create a file. I'm just going to go to my drive. So I just go to Google My Drive. And we're all going to work together. So I'm going to just create a, so this is like my drive. It's in the cloud. So it's no different to, the drive on your actual file server on your desktop, but this is in the cloud. So I can log into this anywhere. I can log in it on my phone. All my files are in there. And at Scribe, our company, everything we do is in the cloud. So like the other day, my colleague, India, her laptop just died. She was back up and running in 15 minutes. I just gave her another, luckily we had another backup laptop. She just logged into that. And then she logged into Google and she had all her bookmarks and everything like that. And we use a few browser extensions, 1Password, etc. She just logged in, she's ready to go. There's no downtime at all. But yeah, so if I want to let's collaborate on a document. So I'm going to create a new one here. I'll just give it a name. Here it is. So this is like Word doc, so all these cloud providers, the tools, it has like the normal things. Let me just go to Scribe again. It's got all the normal apps that you get here. I've got email, docs, spreadsheets, slides. It's the same as what you got in Office 365. And a lot of the time, the cloud-based versions that you run in a browser, they're not as extensive in terms of the functionality. But I would say, a lot of applications, particularly desktop, you only normally use 20% of the functionality. And, they're a bit too, they have too much in there. So I find it easier. So I've got this doc here. This is actually now a file. So if I go back here, I hit refresh. It's down here. Demo online collaboration. Cool. So now we're going to work on it together. So I'm going to get ready on chat. I'm going to drop it into the chat. So I'm going to click in here, share. And it's already restricted to only people that can have the link. And this is actually in my drive. It's not in a shared drive within our team. If I put it in a shared drive on my team, everyone will be able to see it and search for it. So I'm actually I could select it to the organization, but I'm going to go anybody with the link. And then I could go view, but I'm going to say editor. So anyone with that link can share it. So I want you guys to jump on. Where is the chat? I'm going to share it in the chat. I can't even. Oh, there it is. And I'm wearing glasses. Oh. Copy link. There we go. Share it. There we go. So as you can see, I've shared it. People logging in now, and it's bringing up these avatars. So we've got 27. So you can go in there and just write where you're going on holiday this year. Where am I going on holiday? I think I'm going Cornwall. There we go. So we're all. I mean, look at that. It's wild. Multiple people editing, and it's a bit crazy because we have 63 people in there. It's gone wild. We're all editing. Oh, someone's going to Mexico. That's the most fancy so far. There we go. Scotland. So we're all editing it together. Obviously, that wouldn't be a normal scenario with so many people editing it. But yeah, it's very useful if you are in a team and you need to edit together. But also, it's very useful if you're not editing. We're going to New York, awesome, Egypt. It's also useful if you just want to share. So a lot of the time, if you've got like a spreadsheet, a doc, and everything like that, and when you share it, you attach it to an email, you're creating another copy of it. So if you just share the actual live online document, and you could set them to read only. So I'm going to do that now. Let's just see what it happens. I'm going to now move you to viewer. Boom. Try and edit, people. Try and edit. I've turned you off. There we go. Yeah, so it's useful not only for online collaboration, and it's useful for sharing. So you're not keeping multiple copies of that file around. So if you had a right to be forgotten request or freedom of information, it's all in one place. You know, you don't have it in inboxes or anything like that with people. So that's just a little demo of kind of the power of online collaboration and keeping the same copy of data, and it's all backed up. Cool. So let's just move on a little bit. Actually, I'll keep it. Yeah. So there, you know, in the cloud world, Sally, I'll answer questions at the end. Yeah, so I'll get some questions. So in the world of cloud, it's not, you know, there are, you know, a bunch of different tools to do different things. And I might produce a nice infographic for this, but I was just keeping a list of different tools. So communication and collaboration, you know, email, video, instant messaging, meeting scheduling, you know, there's a kind of like apps there. Document and content management, cloud storage, digital signatures, file sharing for big files, etc. Finance and accounting, you know, got all the different finance and accounting tools in there, HR tools, you know, it says marketing tools, building websites, Aubergine, Parish Online, social media tools, graphic design, Canva, video editing, Canva, Veed, email marketing, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, etc. Project management, Trello, Notion, Asana, task management, ticket management, data collection forms, CRM systems, again, survey and feedback tools, security and compliance, passwords, etc., event management, event ticketing, asset management, facility management. So I'm gonna work on this one, which I'm gonna do a nice kind of diagram of all the logos. So it's kind of like all the tools that you could be using. So we often see that on the Clerks Corner, our Facebook group. You know, people saying what tool to use for this, and I'm going to get a nice infographic so you can in different sections so that you can see what's available. So go back into presentation mode. I've just covered that. Yeah, so Zoom, yeah, so the basics that you do need to get in place before you look at all these other fancy tools is your office, back office system. So we all, you know, used to use Microsoft Office on the desktop, but now all those tools are available by cloud providers. There's really just three main cloud providers that are most popular. So we've already talked about Google Workspace, Office 365, but also I'd like to put forward Zoho. Zoho is a cheaper version, but it's also very good, very popular, and it does all your kind of, your documents, spreadsheets, presentations, some level of task management in there, and file storage. Office 365, you can't get it for free. Google Workspace, you can't get it for free, but you can use the free version, which is kind of it's just called Google Docs or if you get a Gmail account, you get Google Docs for free. So you get all the spreadsheets and everything, and you also get storage and everything for free. That's also possible to use, but in an organization, you need kind of centralized access and control for all the users within the organization. But I might do a blog on how you could kind of do that in a secure way. Have I got anything on the next slide? I don't know. Well, yes. So yeah, again, these tools. Yeah. So in Google Workspace, we use this at Scribe. I love it. Yeah, you got all the kind of text documents, spreadsheets, surveys, presentations, etc. So I've already given you a demo of Google Workspace. We created a document, we edited it together. I changed the access control and turned it off. Also, probably what I didn't demo with is you also get the audit trail now. So all changes. I mean, the document's only been going since 11/20, but I can go back, like that's the version of it when I first created it. And then this is the next version, but you can get snapshots I could go to this document, actually, it might be a bit better. So I'll go into the version history here, and, I can, so these are effectively backed up versions of that file at that point in time. So I can see who's edited it so I've got myself, I've got Eva, I've got Jessica. I can go in and see what changes she's made. She added Rialtus, Edge, Cloudy IT to the asset management. Yeah, so I can see any changes in there, and I could actually restore to that particular version. So it's all backed up. So again, like not going on a backup, it's not only the backup of the whole file, it's all the previous versions. So I think I'm going to call it, that's 30 minutes in. I'm open to some questions. Hopefully